Okay, let's discuss first ano yung isusulat niyo about sa bioethical consideration na part sa inyong methodology. So you have to follow this. This is our ethics and IACUC guidelines for research. Ito yung mga elements of research ethics according to the National Ethics Guidelines for Health and Health-Related Research. That's NEGHHR 2017. So first, you have to consider in your study, number one, the social value. So yung participation of human beings in your research can only be justified if the study has social value. So pag sinabing social value, it refers to the relevance of your study to an existing social or health problem. So etong social value, you have to establish this one in your significance of the study. So, kailangan meron talaga tayong makuhang benefit sa inyong study and we can address the research problem. So, kung ano yung problem natin, ma-address natin through your research. So, again, yung significance of the study shall be clearly described in a separate section of your protocol. So, separate siya, itong social study, separate siya sa research procedure ninyo. Next, the study design, methodology, and data collection overall should be able to generate information supportive of the objectives of the study. So, whatever you have written in your statement of the problem, kailangan ma-answer natin yan siya doon sa ating methodology, sa ating data collection. Dapat kompleto. If you have three statements of the problem, kailangan lahat silang tatlo magkakaroon ng answer when we do your experiment or when we do your data gathering procedure. You have to take note of that. Next, you have to consider in your protocol the dissemination plan of the results of your study. So, after the study, kailangan may portion doon sa inyong protocol about how are you going to disseminate the result of your study. Hindi pwede na hanggang end lang ng study, hanggang final defense, and then hardbound natin yung research niyo and then doon na lang sa shelves ng library and the research office. No, we have to have a plan how to disseminate your results. So, one way to disseminate your result is to be involved in research forums or fora, and then yung mga poster presentation, that's an example of research result dissemination. So, hindi natin isali itong Research Ethics Committee. And then this one is the most important thing, labi na katong sa mga research na involving human participants or respondents, the informed consent. So you have to state in the bioethical consideration that you will secure an informed consent to all participants in your study. So pag sinabing informed consent, it's a decision sa inyong potential participant na gusto niya, na willing siya na to be involved in your research after receiving and understanding the information about your study. So dapat it's not under coercion, undue influence, or inducement. Dapat willing silang lahat na mag-participate. Walay pugsanay. Next, obtaining informed consent is a process that is begun when initial contact is made with a potential participant and continues throughout the course of the study. So do not forget that at the start pa lang, during your first contact with your potential participant, you have to secure an informed consent. And then, mapatuloy yung pag-secure nyo ng informed consent as you go on with your study. Now, you have to inform your potential participants, you have to explain, you have to answer their questions, and then you have to make sure that they have understood everything about your research. kung ano yung kanilang involvement, kung meron ba silang makukuhang benefits, kung wala ba, or kung may potential harm ba when you conduct your research, you have to communicate that one to your potential participants. And then after that, if na-make sure na ninyo na they have understood everything, you have to obtain an agreement from them and yung informed consent na tinatawag. Next, for all research involving humans, the researcher shall obtain the voluntary informed consent of the prospective research participant. Now, how about if the potential research participant is unable to give his or her consent? So, for example, in the case of minor, so sa law natin class, ang mga minors are actually not capable of giving their own consent. So ano yung gagawin natin? So in the case of this, in the case of an individual who is incapable of giving or who has diminished capacity to give informed consent, the researcher must exert effort to obtain his or her assent and the consent of a legally authorized representative in accordance with applicable law. So for example, sa minor, the parent or the guardian should give the informed consent. Yun ha, para dili ta ma-technical sa atuang study. So in obtaining the informed consent class, sponsors and researchers, you as the researcher shall have the duty to avoid deception, undue influence, or intimidation. Bawal na siya, walay pugsanay. If they don't want to be included or involved in your study, then let them be. Walay pugsanay. Now, informing the potential participant shall not be simply a ritual recitation of the content of a written document. So rather, the researcher shall convey the information, whether orally, in writing, or other modes of communication, in a language and manner that suit the individual's capacity and level of understanding. So hindi lang na siya tama na ato ang basahon ang ato ang informed consent na form. Kailangan i-explain jud ninyo sa ilaha until makasabot sila kung unsa na inyuhang kailangan sa ilaha. Next, the researcher shall ensure that the prospective participant has adequately understood the information. The researcher shall give one the full opportunity to ask questions, and you have to answer them honestly, promptly, and completely. Medyo naputol ata dito. Dito dapat siya. Ayan, the researcher shall provide the following information. Ito yung mga ipoprovide nyo na information to your potential research participant. So first, that the individual is invited to participate in the research which is being undertaken by the researcher from the institution. So you have to state your name, you have to state your institution, where did you come from, what institution are you affiliated, and that you are inviting them to become participants of your research. Next, you have to communicate to them the reasons for considering the individual suitable for the study and that the participation is voluntary. So again, you have to state the reason bakit sila yung participants niyo. And you have to communicate it efficiently that this one is voluntary. They can say no. So kung ayaw nila, then di natin sila pipilitin. Next, that the individual is free to refuse, just what I said a while ago, to participate in the research without penalty or loss of benefits to which he or she is entitled. Now, you have to communicate that one, that in the middle of the research, if they want to stop their participation, they want to end their participation in your research, they may do so. Ha? Pwede yon. Wala tayong magagawa. Next, the purpose of the research, the procedures to be carried out by the researcher, and an explanation of how the research differs from routine medical or healthcare. I-explain niyo sa kanila yung procedure niyo, class, step-by-step procedure. and how you will carry out your research. Na if you will have like mga medical procedures na gagawin, you have to explain them everything about it, and yung mga differences ng mga nang gagawin yung procedure doon sa ginagawa sa hospital setting, yung reality, yung totoong setting. Next, the expected duration of the individual's participation, including number and duration of visits to the research center and the total time involved, and the possibility of early termination of the study or of the individual's participation in it. So, included yan sa i-communicate nyo doon sa inyong participant. Ha? Kung kapila ninyo sila interviewhon, kung unsang oras expected to, kung unsa kadugay mahuman ang inyong interview, or even yung sa questionnaire, kung pila like 10 minutes ba ang time na kailangan lang ninyo sa ilaha para ma-answeran ang inyong questionnaire. Next, any foreseeable risks, pain or discomfort or inconvenience to the individual. You have to communicate this also. Yung mga may experience nila associated with your research. So including risk to the health or well-being of the individual's spouse or partner. Kailangan alam niya nila. And the direct benefits, if ever meron. Like kung meron kayong ibibigay na something, you have to state that one at the beginning. Or kung wala, then wala. Next, whether money or other forms of material goods will be provided in return for the individual's participation, and if so, the kind and amount. Yan. Dapat alam yan nila. Next, the expected benefits of the research to the community or to society at large, or contribution to scientific knowledge. So, kahit hindi kayo magbigay ng pera or goods, yung mga benefits lang na makukuha ng ating community, kailangan na-explain yung mabuti yan sa inyong participant. Medyo mahaba, no, when it comes to informed consent. So, kailangan ma-state yan siya sa inyong paper. Next, whether, when, and how any intervention proven by the research to be safe and beneficial will be made available to the individuals after they have completed their participation in the research, and whether they will be expected to pay for them. Kung wala tayo ibayad, ayun ang pag-promise ha, kay makasabantaan niya at the end of the research, they are expecting to receive something and then wala di ay. Next, the provisions to ensure respect for the privacy of research participants and the confidentiality of records in which they are identified, including documentation through taking of pictures and recording of the interview, and that this might be displayed in publication and conferences or fora. So, di ba, meron tayong research dissemination, and then you will be taking pictures, you will be documenting like your interview, meron kayong mga recorder, ganon. You have to communicate that sa inyong participants so that they will know, and then they will give their consent whether okay lang sa kanila. Pero class, when you have your research na, you can take pictures, but when you place them in your paper, you have to make sure na tabunan ninyo ilahang nawong. Okay? We have to respect their privacy also. Next, legal or other limits to the researcher's ability to safeguard confidentiality and the possible consequences of breaches of confidentiality. Ayan, pag nag-promise kayo na confidential ang kanilang magiging answer, you have to make sure na confidential talaga yan. And you have to communicate to them anong mangyayari if ever kayo yung mag-break ng confidentiality or if ever sila. Next, the participants are free to withdraw from the research at any time without having to give any reason and without penalty or loss of benefits to which he or she is entitled. Kailangan masabi nyo rin yan sa participants ninyo. Now, the sponsors or funders of the research, The institutional affiliation of the researchers and the nature and sources of funding for the research should be also communicated to your participant. So kabalo dapat sila ha nga taga Janssen doctors mo. The possible research uses, direct or secondary, of the individual's medical or health records and the possible future use and final disposition of biological specimens. So for example, class, your study involves ganing kwaon ninyo ang medical history sa isa ka pasyente. So you have to make sure na alam nila and maghatag sila og consent, and ito in terms of merong mga researchers like sa medtech, they will collect specimens from their participants. So kailangan alam ng participants ano yung gamit nun and paano nila i-dispose yung mga specimens na yon. Now, if the specimens collected will not be destroyed, then dapat alam ng participants where, how, and for how long they are going to be stored. Medyo mahaba ito. Next, you have to communicate also to the research participants that they have the right to decide about future use, continued storage, or destruction of collected specimens and or personal information. Remember, we have the data privacy law. Next, whether commercial products may be developed from the biological specimens and whether the research participants shall receive monetary or other benefits from the development of such product. So, I think sa atin, wala namang magde-develop ng product from a specimen obtained from the participants. For example, you will be getting their placenta and then you are going to make a cosmetic product out from it. So, wala naman. Next, the extent of the researcher's responsibility to ensure needed services to the research participants. So, you have to communicate them hanggang saan lang yung kaya niyong i-offer sa kanila. Example, merong mga benefits like kayo ba ang pupunta sa kanila or sila ang pupunta sa school? Ganon. Or kung sila ang pupunta, ano yung mga benefits na makukuha nila? Kayo ba ang mag-shoulder ng kanilang transportation? Ganon. Next, the treatment and rehabilitation will be provided free of charge for specified types of research-related injury or for complications associated with the research. Ito kapag may binigay na talaga tayo na treatment no sa ating human participant. So kung magkakaroon ng mga side effects or other potential harm sa patient, kailangan na communicate na yun sa kanila at the start, and you have to make sure na that they understand how are you going to compensate them if ever mangyari yun. So that's it for the informed consent. Next, so as a general rule, documentation of informed consent includes an actual signature or thumb mark of your participant. Kapag walang signature, walang thumb mark from your participant, then the informed consent is not valid, and that your participant is deemed hindi siya dapat kasali sa study niyo. Ayan. So when the use of an informed consent form is not feasible or unacceptable to the prospective participant, a description of the process attested by a witness may be an alternative, pero kailangan niya ng approval from the Research Ethics Committee. You may renew also the informed consent. Depende kung may mga changes sa study ninyo. Pwede niyong baguhin yung informed consent niyo stating the changes and then the new information about sa inyong study. Yan. Now, meron tayong mga tinatawag na vulnerable na mga research participants. These are participants who require special protection from you as a researcher. So, like, yung mga participants natin na may mga disabilities or may mga sakit like HIV, ganon, you have to consider that mga confidential information, and then you don't need to divulge it to any person not included in your research. You have to make sure that they are protected, and we have to make sure that we will not make more harm sa kanila. So dapat dili sila malugi diri pag-abot sa inyong research. And then aside from that, we have here bioethical considerations na kailangan i-consider sa ating research. We have risks, benefits, and safety. So, ma-justify lang yung research ninyo if merong reasonable likelihood that the population from which the participants are derived stand to benefit from the research. Pag walang benefit, then ano ang reason bakit mag-conduct pa tayo ng research ninyo? Please take note that all research involving human shall be preceded by a careful assessment of predictable risk, burdens, and foreseeable benefits sa participants natin. Kailangan, kung meron tayong makitang risk or harm sa research natin, kailangan gumawa tayo ng paraan to minimize the negative impact or effect ng research natin doon sa ating human participant. And then kailangan, you have to state there if ever meron kayong nakitang harm, kailangan ma-justify natin that positive yung benefit-risk ratio. Next, we have the researcher, funder, or sponsor of the research shall endeavor to ensure the reasonable availability and accessibility of favorable research outcomes to the community. Ayan, kaya ma-research na. Ma-reason out natin yan. And then, when there is ethical and scientific justification to conduct research with individuals capable of giving informed consent, the risk from research interventions that do not hold out the prospect of direct benefit for the individual participant shall be no more likely and no greater than the risk attached to routine medical or psychological examination of such persons. Now, slight or minor increases above such risk may be permitted when there is an overriding scientific or medical rationale for such increases and when the Research Ethics Committee has approved them. So ito, sa atin actually wala naman kasi mag-i-interview lang naman tayo, magpapa-answer lang tayo ng questionnaire. This is actually in the case sa clinical studies wherein we develop drugs and then we test them to human participants. Ito, kailangan talaga ito. Kailangan na ma-identify yung risk and then ma-determine kung anong level yung risk na pwedeng ma-experience ng ating participants. Next, privacy and confidentiality of information. Again, remember that we have the Data Privacy Act of 2012. So, kailangan nating sundin kung ano ang nakalagay sa law na yan. So, hindi pwedeng malabag natin ang right to privacy ng ating human participants. Now, even if they give their consent na they will participate in your study, but then again, all information that you are going to collect from them should be considered confidential. So you are not allowed to divulge such information to people that are not involved in your study. Again, bawal magpakalat ng mga information about your participants. Now, if there is some likelihood or opportunity for you as a researcher to observe the occurrence of illegal or harmful behavior such as makakita kayo ng merong child abuse during your study, self-harm or suicide ideation, the researcher shall first explicitly indicate the limits of confidentiality in the informed consent process, such as when the researcher is ethically and legally obligated to disclose the identity of the respondent to forestall imminent harm to self or others. So kailangan ma-state natin hanggang saan yung kaya yung protektahan na information. Pero we have to take note na meron tayong ethical and legal obligation when it comes to disclosing information, especially if that will cause harm sa ating participant. Ganon. Next, emphasize the right of the respondent to withdraw from the study or withdraw his or her data and to refuse to answer any question. And prepare a concrete and realistic protocol for reporting and the referral in the event that the imminent harm and or a criminal act is disclosed or discovered in the process of data collection. Ito yung mahirap kasi kapag ka naka-experience kayo ng something in the community, may nakita kayong like sa child abuse, you have to consider making a protocol or procedure and how are you going to do it. Like, kung gusto niyo bang i-refer para matapos yung ma-end yung ginagawang crime. So, kailangan natin i-take into consideration what do you call that? First, the privacy of the victim and yung safety nila. Next, researchers shall recognize the collecting data using group methods like FGDs. We say FGDs, focus group discussion. This is also a way of collecting your data. Sorry, wait lang. Message. Wait lang ha. Dean is calling. Regarding the ethical considerations that you need to follow sa research. Wala. Asa na ganita? Okay, dito na to sa FGDs, right? Focus group discussion. So, since it's a focus group discussion, you have to make a protocol na yung anong pinag-usapan niyo doon sa inyong focus group discussion will become confidential. And since hindi naman siya magiging confidential individually, kasi nga nakagrupo kayo, yun na lang yung protektahan ninyo, yung information na magagather during the focus group discussion. So you have to make a plan in the protocol, including the steps to be taken so that all who have access doon sa data ninyo and yung identities ng mga respondents will be kept confidential and private. Ayan. So for example, like gagawa kayo ng clear instruction to your research assistants, transcribers of audio recordings, or translators of the transcriptions. Now, yung mga translators natin, like kung mag-i-interview kayo, most likely yung mga participants niyo will use the language na they are more comfortable. But when it comes to writing in the research, you have to transcribe it to English kasi. So, pwedeng kayo yung mag-transcribe or pwede you hire someone na mag-transcribe. But if you hire someone na hindi kasali doon sa researcher, you have to make sure na meron kayong agreement na whatever is makita nila doon sa inyong data will be kept confidential. And then we have justice. Ito, kapag ang research ninyo involves human participants, kailangan may equal distribution of both the burdens and the benefits na makukuha sa research. So, kailangan fair, makita natin sa inyong sampling and even your assignments sa different groups. Makita yung fair selection dyan. Then we have provision of appropriate care to research participants regardless of their economic status, gender, race, or creed. So sa bioethical consideration, you have to mention this one, na walang bias, so walang judgment, whether ano man yung economic status or gender ng iyong participant. And kailangan, kapag merong harm na mangyari, then there should be a just compensation. And then kapag like hindi sila nakapagtrabaho kasi kinuha mo ang time nila, then you have to compensate them also. So as a form of reimbursement doon sa nawala sa kanila. Next, we have transparency. So, ethical research shall also be characterized by transparency, meaning all parties should be transparent about the matters relating to the involvement in the study. So, hindi naman siya opposite ng privacy, no? Yung transparency lang is to promote confidence in the research enterprise even when privacy and anonymity need to be preserved about sensitive matter. So, yung transparency kasi, kailangan even if we protect the information about our participant, we have to be transparent to them when it comes to yung mga na-mention na kanina pa, na kung may benefit ba silang makuha, may harm bang makukuha, and then they should also be transparent sa inyo when it comes to their answers doon sa inyong mga questions sa kanila. Yan. So disclosure of results to research participants shall occur only. First, we have the findings are scientifically valid and confirmed. Ayan, pwede niyong i-disclose. The findings have significant implications for the participants' well-being, and the course of action to ameliorate those concerns is readily available when research results are disclosed to its participants. Ayan. So yung transparency, actually this one is the last topic. Transparency imposes responsibilities on researchers to disclose information about their affiliations, financial interest, or other loyalties that may affect their objectivity and the integrity of their research output. And then may responsibilities din doon sa research participants to be truthful in declaring their health conditions and to be candid in expressing their concerns about their involvement in the research. So you have to be honest. Hindi lang siya one way. We have to be honest to our human participants, and we have to make sure that they will also answer and bigay nila yung mga totoong information about them. So, kailangan ma-ensure natin yan at the start of the research. So, ito yung mga elements, class, ng ethics sa research. So, you have to include this. Depende kung ano yung kailangan i-include sa inyong bioethical consideration sa research. Do you have questions? Wala? Wait lang. I would like actually to see your study. Kung ano na nangyari dyan. I hope yung ibang groups